Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, anime, music, food, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time. Really, my name is Dan with H. With me, as always, is my co-host Thavy. Hi, Thavy.
Hi, Dan. You sound very chipper.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. We've just capped off our Jackie January episodes for the year, which takes a lot out of me. I'll tell you that much. But
yeah, no, I get it. Editing's hard work, man.
But no, if they're a lot of fun. If people want to check it out, they're on our YouTube channel, and it's brought us to mid-February, which is the best time to talk about movies from last year.
Yeah, that's right. We this is kind of our feeding our ego episodes a little bit, but it's just something that we always kind of enjoy doing. I mean,
sometimes we do it earlier.
We're talking about,
but this year ended up being a bit of a late one, which it's never too late to look back at fond memories, is it, Tubby?
Yeah, no, it's not.
And terrible memories, but that'll come next episode. This episode is for the fond memories.
Yes. We'll get the good news out of the way first before we get to the bad news that people kind of enjoy a lot more. Well, enjoy way more because that's how the internet works.
Yeah. Numbers don't lie.
We're doing the best of 2024. We're keeping it simple this year. Only the top 10 best. We haven't categorized it like 2 years ago. And we, I think last year we weren't properly prepared because I remember it was kind of a bit of a mess that recording.
We did best of, worst of last year as well, I think.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think we'd kept it simple. Yeah.
But yes, so for those that are new to this channel, usually we do talk about Asian pop culture. But when it comes to these episodes, the floor is open to any movie that came out last year, so 2024 movie.
And to any time that we don't talk about an Asian film, which has happened a lot more often this year. I mean, last year than usual, I think.
Yeah. Asian pop culture is a loose term.
Well, there is that channel that kind of just, no, I won't mention it.
So we are talking movies of 2024. We're talking Australian release dates. So, even though movies like Nosferatu came out in America in December 2024, because it came out January 1st, 2025 in Australia, we're not putting that in our list. Although it probably would have been in my list of.
Yeah, it might have been in my list. That and the Brutalist as well. These are kind of new movies that I've seen.
But they'll have to wait till next year, where we might.
They have to fight against everything else.
Yeah.
I'll remember.
They'll have to fight. They'll have to fight against Fantastic Four.
They have to fight against Jurassic World Rebirth.
Sure.
Rebirth?
That movie has Scarlett Johansson in it. That's a pretty good get.
Yeah. That movie looks good, but the story is just another Jurassic Park.
I think it looks like every other Jurassic Park movie except the first one.
It looks a little bit cleaner. Okay. It's done by Gareth Edwards, who's done. He makes very pretty big budget movies. But they're often a bit lacking on the story side.
I might have one of his movies on my list, or one of my lists. Ooh. I will never tell which one. It's the bad movies list. It's the bad movies list, Gareth. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
I think it was by him, actually. No, I think I actually put it in as an honorable mention in the end. But we'll get to that next episode. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
This episode is for good movies. So we'll start with number 10, Thavy. Do you want to go first?
I had two movies vying for this number 10 spot, actually, when I was ad hocingly putting it together. But I put number 10, A Different Man.
Okay.
The dark comedy film. We talked a bit about it when I was in Sydney last year.
I can link that episode.
Stan, Sebastian Stan plays a guy with facial tumors on his face, but then he gets a miracle cure that makes him look like a regular person, but to his detriment, makes him more miserable in a sense. And he, comes across another guy who was in a situation, but is just much better. And I think the big reason I put this in the top 10 list is it's just a really funny movie. I really like the antagonist in this movie because I've never seen an antagonist who is not a bad person, just insufferably a really nice guy who's just good at everything. The mirror image of what Sebastian Stan's character wanted to be.
Very
I just find
relatable.
that really funny.
We all have that
Very
person in
relatable.
our lives that is just better than us at everything.
It's just better.
And you can't hate him, but you kind of do hate him. Yeah. So that character's name is Oswald, played by Adam Pearson. Adam Pearson doing a very good job at portraying that kind of character.
Yeah, it's just a really darkly funny movie. It's shot pretty well. It's very well acted and won a few Golden Globes. I think Sebastian Stan won something for it recently, didn't he? Didn't he get a Golden Globe for this movie or something? Anyway, but it's been pretty critically well received. It's been kind of mixed with audiences.
You're right.
I
He
think.
did win a Golden Globe for Best Actor.
Yeah. It's been nominated for Best Visual Effects as well, I think, or Best Makeup.
Got some pretty good makeup in it.
Which, rightly deserves.
It's got a surprise appearance from Michael Shannon in it, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I remember when I was rewatching it, I forgot about that. That surprise Michael Shannon. Just all the characters are very unlikably likable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch, but they're not very good people.
No.
It's really hard to do that kind of movie, especially in this day and age where if you are making a movie about someone that has, deformity or is disabled in that sense, Hollywood would have the tendency to make that person, make them, untouchable, flawless, but everyone's bad in this movie. Like everyone is insufferable, and I like it, and it brings nuance to this kind of story that is not often available for actors like this. So I think that it hits all of those marks. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Really funny movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie. I also have it as my number 10 best movie, which is a happy
Really?
coincidence. That'll make the edit a bit easier. I don't really have anything to add. It's a very fun movie. Woody Allen vibe. So if you enjoy Woody Allen movies, you'll probably like this one.
Yeah.
A bit of dark comedy. Excellent performances.
Probably has one of the funniest scenes this year. I had to bring it up again. It's the scene where he's just lost his shit at the real estates, where his character works and he has the mask of himself and he's trying to be the new Adam Pearson.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to be Oswald. That's it.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to, and it's just
a really,
it is just so funny.
Really funny, really interesting take because, Sebastian Stan, obviously a very beautiful man, but finds himself jealous of Oswald, who, suffers the same facial tumors that he used to suffer from. So, a very interesting and funny take on the genre.
Yeah.
All right.
Good movie. Good dark comedy. Yeah.
Shall I go on to my number 9 best movie? I have The Roundup Punishment as number 9. So the 4th installment? Wait.
I think it's the 4th, or is it the...
Hang on.
No, it's the 4th.
Okay, No Way Out was 2023. Okay, Roundup Punishment is 2024. 4th movie in the Roundup series, starring Ma Dong-seok as a detective who just punches his way to solving his crime of choice. So this is like, I've said it before. We've got a review on our channel, but this is like Jack Reacher but Korean. It's a big man solving mysteries mainly through punching.
Yeah, pretty much. And some comedic hijinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
How this movie kind of elevates itself from the others, I guess. It's a bit more slick than the other ones, than the previous ones. It's still pretty like in line with the tone of the previous films. in terms of comedy. I think this movie is slowly turning into the Lethal Weapon franchise, which I also enjoy.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I've got a lot of room for the Lethal Weapon franchise, so I don't mind that at all. I like the villain.
Yeah.
So Kim Moo-yeol plays Baek Chung-gi, who is, I guess, maybe more menacing than the previous villains.
Yeah.
But his counterpoint is Lee Dong-hui playing Jang Dong-chol, which is like a weedy, like IT kind of type. So that's fun as well.
Yeah, that's right. To be honest, I've forgotten about a lot of the stuff that's happened in this movie.
Yeah.
And you kind of bring it back up. So, oh, yeah, there is that Filipino scamming center that they bring up, and there's an IT guy, and Ma Dong-seok has a bit of a, I mean, he doesn't struggle, but they're a little bit more on equal par in terms of fighting ability at a point. I find these movies very, very enjoyable as well. But my issue with them is, they blend together a bit too much.
I think as an in-the-moment experience, they're so much fun though.
Yeah, they are really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but you do kind of walk away from it and forget about it pretty quickly. But I'd keep watching these movies until they get bad, to be honest.
Yeah. No one else can really pull them away from Ma Dong-seok. He is Ma Dong-seok. What's the character's name again? It's just Ma Dong-seok.
It's Ma Seok-do.
Is it how Jackie's Jackie? Ma Seok-do. Oh, yeah. That's very well disguised name, Ma Seok-do.
That's like Jackie Chan playing an archaeologist named Jack.
Jack, yeah. Hey, Jack. Hey, Ma. It's Ma Seok-do. Yeah. There's definitely probably a blooper reel of just them getting his name wrong somewhere out there.
Fun movies. What do you have as number 9?
So for number 9, I've got Osgood Perkins' Longlegs for number 9. So this was a thriller, maybe a detective supernatural thriller. So it's got Micah Monroe, who plays Lee Harkin, who's got a supernatural ability, and she's chasing Nicolas Cage's Longlegs, who is kind of tormenting this town.
Wow, Osgood Perkins is the son of Anthony Perkins, the actor that played Psycho in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Oh, really? There you go.
That's crazy.
Maybe that's why he's got such twisted tastes. I'm looking forward to watching The Monkey when that comes out.
Yeah. Is that him as well?
Later this year. Yeah, that's him as well. Nice. Yeah. This movie had a really great marketing campaign. And I think it leads to the success of this movie. I think it's Neon's most successful film that's been produced by them. I like this movie because of its dreamlike atmosphere and threatening atmosphere, which is almost quite relaxing. I think the cinematography is really good.
You say relaxing,
especially
but
the color grades.
The movie revolves around a serial killer and FBI's mental struggle to catch this serial killer.
When I was watching this in the theater for the first time on extreme screen, I was just like letting the ambiance of the sound design and the visuals, and I was just entranced.
I get it.
Like,
it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah. On further viewing, I do really enjoy Nicolas Cage's performance as Longlegs, even though he is just Nick Cage, and it does take a lot of the fear out of the movie. I think he does a great job. But I think Micah Monroe just does a really good job at playing this. I think I mentioned in a review earlier this year, I talked about Micah Monroe's character. She portrays that kind of tortured, vulnerable, but like strong character still. And it's a lot of it is within her.
Hard kind of character to write and perform, actually.
Yeah. Just a lot of little facial expressions that I enjoyed that is never fully overt, but you can just see it. And I just enjoy it. Very fun movie. I think the second half, the twist is kind of, it's okay. I think just rewatching it, it sort of lets it down a little bit, but it's a very easy movie for me to watch.
I would say it doesn't go the way you would expect it to go.
Yeah. which I'm not sure that I liked that much just thinking about it, but I think it's still a fun watch. And it works well as a movie. I can sit down and chill, or if I'm doing something, I can have it on in the background as well. But yeah, there's a lot of visual, auditory goodness in this movie. A lot of craft for a pretty simple plot. So yeah, with my criteria this year, there are movies that I've seen that are objectively much better than this movie, but I think I put enjoyment as well as a part of my criteria to a lot of these films.
You gotta.
Because you gotta like what you
That's
watch.
what movies
you can
are
watch your
for.
art house stuff, but you got to be entertained as well. So yeah, Longlegs puts it there. Give it a watch. I think it's a very cool movie, nice and dark and relaxing if you're as messed up a person as I am. Yeah,
Like a weekend music video.
yeah, that's actually not a bad comparison, to be honest. Yeah.
All right, let's go on to number 8 then. Shall I go first?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We switched it up. We already fucked up. I thought you were talking about your number 9.
Yeah. No,
You go your number 8. Yeah.
My number
keep it
8
like
is
that.
Furiosa.
Ooh, Furiosa.
Yes, Furiosa. Surprisingly divisive film. I think a lot of people weren't really that keen on it. Maybe because it was a female-led Mad Max spin-off, who's to say?
Yeah. I think that was probably the bigger reason a lot of people, they wanted to see Max.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But no, I enjoyed it. I really like Mad Max Fury Road. This movie is not as good as Mad Max Fury Road. Bit of over-reliance on CGI, which is not new ground. I think a lot of people have that opinion. But, it's I like this universe. I like the world that they built. I like Chris Hemsworth's performance and Anya Taylor-Joy's performance as well. The action set pieces are really good and really tense, cool too. And yeah, I just would love to see more from the Mad Max world and just more expanding.
Which you are probably not going to see.
Yeah, this movie didn't do super well.
Yeah.
I think it was probably just too little too late. Yeah, like
Yeah, the timing is wrong, and it's just the order of how people wanted to see a Mad Max movie first before a Furiosa movie.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I think this is a very good movie as well. Very fun to watch. Lots of really cool dialogue or odd dialogue, which I find really cool.
Yeah, what I like about this film is that George Miller is kind of letting loose a little bit more. Like he's a bit less restraint in this film. Like it's all the colors are so vivid and vibrant in this film. A little bit like what's that movie? 10,000 Years of Longing. If you've seen that.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that movie. No, you've seen it. You said that it's all right.
Yeah, I like it. It's really weird and really like. It's a bit of an acid trip, which I find parts of Furiosa to be like that as well. I think it's It's kind of like George Miller, like coming into his style a bit more and having a bit more freedom to do what he wants to do. Probably lost that freedom now, but
unfortunately, he doesn't really make crowd-pleasing movies.
I just like seeing
he makes movies for himself.
I like seeing auteurs be true to themselves.
Yeah, me too.
For good or ill. Yeah.
Good on him for doing that, man. Good on you, George Miller. Even though this is definitely the younger, wrong generation to watch your stuff and like it, but you keep doing what you're doing, man. I think
keep giving us weird dialogue said in a bogan accent. I'm there for it.
I mean, like he's in his twilight years now, isn't he? He's not a young guy. So I don't think he really gives that much of a shit, to be honest. He just makes what he wants. He's not. I think he's really going to be setting himself up.
Yeah, he's been worn down like John Carpenter. Probably just plays video games all day.
But I mean, to make a movie as action-packed and as thrilling as Furiosa at that age it's fucking hard work. So, yeah, good on him.
Yeah. All right, what have you got as number 8?
So, number 8, I have Robot Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
The French animated film. Yeah, I grew to like this movie a lot more over the year. So, it's a story about a dog who lives in New York amongst other anthropomorphic beings, and he's lonely, and he buys a robot to be his friend, which, yeah, they have a grand old time until his robot accidentally rusts and is left on the beach, and he can't get back to the beach because it's locked off by angry the man, the man. Yeah, so it's about their separation. There's no dialogue in this movie. I really like the art style. It's that very
French.
It kind of reminds me of Flash animation a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's got everything has very, even though there's a lot of depth in the shading, it's kind of like one shade. I want to say monochromatic. I don't know how to explain it, but it's cool.
It's very
I really
crisp,
like the art style.
right?
Yeah. I think this kind of animation is timeless, and I love 2D animation. It's a fun watch, and it's also a sad watch at times. I think I put this there because the message that this movie totes is a really profound message, both for adults and kids, which I will not spoil here because I think you should watch it, because it's really just a nice message that I don't think I've seen many movies tackle. And it kind of hit me a bit.
Do you think
over the year? And I think about it, yeah.
Do you think it's accessible to kids? As you mentioned, there's no dialogue. Seems pretty artsy.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
kids don't necessarily need dialogue, but they do need movement, I think.
I mean, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of colors and stuff as well. But it's hard because, I mean, there are some things that some kids might not get because they show like sort of different subcultures of New York, like the punk rock culture. And I mean, there's a guy giving the main character the finger at one point, which is funny. It's that midway, I guess if you are age 8 and up, it's probably better.
Yeah.
Or maybe age 10 and up.
Okay, so if your child, for some reason, is tired of watching Sonic movies, take them to go see this.
I actually want to see the third Sonic movie because I've heard it's quite good.
I've seen the first one. I think Sonic's okay.
It's probably just okay for us.
For a kids movie,
I'm
it's
kind of
okay.
curious about that trilogy. Yeah, it's interesting. They're quite a renowned series amongst kids.
The franchise
and adults.
that brought Jim Carrey out of retirement and made him break his
Sonic
rule
the
about not
Hedgehog.
doing sequels.
Yeah, I'm curious about those movies. I'll watch them at some point, but honestly, not in a big rush. But just to finish off with Robot Dreams, check it out. I think it's a cool movie. It's very easy to watch. It's got a very nice message at the end that I think is important for a lot of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right,
So
cool.
you're on your number 7 now? Is that it?
Number 7 for me is Baby Assassin's Good Days, Nice Days. Baby Assassins 3.
Yep.
The third installment in the Baby Assassins franchise. I mean, this movie we did watch fairly recently, but even then it was always going to be on my list, I think. I really love this franchise. I love these two characters, and just seeing the progression of them and seeing the progression of this franchise as well. I think it's probably the second strongest of the franchise, which I guess isn't saying much considering there's only 3 installments so far.
Yeah.
But no, they're really fun movies. If you haven't checked out the Baby Assassin series, I highly recommend them because they are, at face value, action movies, but they're more than that as well. They're like slice of life movies with action in them.
There's also the stoner hangout vibe, which has no drugs in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said in our review, I love these movies because of how much fun they have hanging out and the chemistry between the lead actresses. It's great to watch as well. Yeah. And the action's pretty good too. So if you're a fan of action films, then definitely check it out. It's got very anime aesthetic. And it's just a lot of fun to watch. Highly recommend. Yeah. Looking forward to, I think it's called Ghost Killer, which has Akari Takeishi, who plays Chisato in the Baby Assassins
Is that a Yugo
series.
movie as well?
Yeah, it is. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it.
Okay.
So it has the fight choreography from the trailer. It looks very similar to Baby Assassins, but it seems like a much more serious piece. I think the storyline of that movie is the ghost of a hitman sort of becomes buddies with like a high school girl or a uni student.
Okay.
And he possesses her at times to get revenge for the people that killed him, I think.
Oh.
Which sounds cool. So
That sounds
yeah,
fun, yeah.
a lot of fun. Yeah. And it's cool. It's really cool to see Akari get more physically active in the choreography. It's cool to watch the evolution of her do more fights from the first movie to the third movie. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
Feels like these two actors have kind of
the third
grown
one
up
as well, yeah.
with this franchise as well.
Yeah.
Because the actress,
probably one of my favorite franchises. Yeah,
actress that plays Mahito as well. What's her name?
Saudi Isada.
Yeah.
Saudi Izawa, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's developed as an actress as well. So she's become more than just like a stunt woman.
Just a stunt woman. Yeah. She's pretty good at playing Mahito. We'll have to see her acting chops in other roles, but as Mahito, it's like it can't be anyone else. You can't replace any of the leads. So yeah. No, good choice. Good choice for number 7, man.
What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Mars Express.
Oh.
Another French animated film. I seem to have a soft spot for French animated movies. So to describe this movie, it's pretty much animated Blade Runner in the style of Scavenger's Reign. So there's a series of murders, and the lead detective, Aline, is investigating them with her cyborg friend, partner, who... Carlos. Yes, so Carlos is a former detective who has died but has become a cyborg with his memories. And yeah, they investigate a series of murders that leads to a big truth. So there's kind of I wouldn't say a tonal shift, but there's a big shift towards the climax of the movie. This movie is just really cool to watch. It'll scratch that Scavenger's Reign itch. It has the same art
really
style.
like Scavenger's Reign.
The world building is really cool. There's just a lot of very interesting things that come up. Like there's this weird fish thing in a tank that controls things, but then all the gadgets and future stuff is quite present in, other, I guess, cyberpunk world or Blade Runner world, but it's not as dystopic. This world seems like the natural evolution of a world that lives with new technology, but it seems like a nice place to live. Not everyone is depressed or a prostitute or something like that. It's not constantly raining all the time. So it does do that French noir thing quite well. And it is a French movie, but it is a lot brighter to watch. And I really like the voice acting in this movie. There's something about French movies that do that cinema verite quite well. The realistic sounding dialogue. It doesn't sound like they're reading lines. It literally sounds at points like two people just conversing about things. There's just these little inflections that are really good in this movie.
Yeah.
And there's a number of action scenes which are really cool as well. There's not too many, but the ones that are there are quite good. It's just a really cool world and just great animation. I think this is one of the underrated films of this year. I think it's got mostly good reviews from the people that have seen it, but not too much exposure. I think this was playing at Fantastic Fest in Australia. So it played in like the Hawthorne Cinema, the Lido Cinema. Yeah. But no, this is a really cool movie. Yeah. I've been recommending this movie to you a lot as well.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
So it's like any any fan of early 90s anime as well.
Yeah,
like if you
I like
Ghost
the
in
art
the
style a
Shell.
lot. It does have that very early 90s anime vibe.
Yeah, and if you're a Gen Z who has attention issues, the movie's only an hour and 28 minutes. So it's very short.
Too long,
It
Thavy.
runs at a clip. Yeah, it needs to be 30 seconds. And it needs to be, what's the vertical aspect? 1080 by 920. It needs to be a vertical. But no, sit down and watch this movie. It's cool. Yeah, very, very cool movie. Loved it a lot. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's go on to number 6. My number 6 is The Beekeeper. The Beekeeper.
The Beekeeper. Oh, to be or not to be.
I mean, what can I say about this film, Thavy? It's Jason Statham plays a man with a military background. He used to be part of a secret organization called the Beekeepers, but then he went into retirement and became an actual beekeeper. Then due to circumstances involving crypto scams, he has no choice but to seek revenge. This is peak Jason Statham. It took him a while. It took him a while to get there, but this is his peak, I think.
He's the new action hero. He's probably our Schwartz this year.
He's the only one left.
Schwarzenegger, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just so many stupid B puns in this movie that it's just great. I love the depiction of the antagonists in this movie.
Yeah, they're like
such a
Gen Z tech bros. Yeah.
It's such a disgruntled boomer's view of Gen Z that it's just really funny.
Yeah. It's so good.
Have you seen the trailer for The Beekeeper 2, which is not actually the beekeeper?
Oh, you're talking about the working man. The working man.
The working man.
Yes.
I'm a working man. I
Just
work.
a construction worker.
I fix things. But when something is faulty, I tear it down.
Sometimes things can't be fixed. And when that happens, the only choice you have left is to tear it all down.
The fact that it is David Ayer directed movie, and from what I've seen, it's basically the
This
same
is the dream
plot.
team, Thavy.
David Ayer.
Yeah.
He's made one of the worst movies I've ever seen, which is Suicide Squad, but then he's just pivoted back to, just make dumb action movies, man. It's great.
Yeah.
It's just like, What was The Beekeeper, A Working Man? What's another? What would be another?
The tradie.
Going off topic again. The tradie. It's like a trade in death.
Fly kick. Yeah.
I mean, he was a transporter, he was a beekeeper, he was a mechanic.
He was a mechanic.
He's a working man. he's just everything. It's just every blue collar job, but it's Jason Statham.
Any situation where a young person can get under his skin, he's there for it.
No, look, there'll be a movie. It's going to be called The Farmer, and he's on a farm. I mean, he's already on a farm with the beekeeper, and it'll be a bunch of guys trying to build a construction building.
Yeah.
Like a construction plan, but then they go out of line and then he's just kills everyone. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, more of this, please. More movies where Statham seems to be a regular Joe Blow, but then he's not.
he's always ex-special forces.
Yes.
That's it. He's just ex-special
Always
forces
vague
guy.
ex-special forces. I love this one in particular because he quits being a beekeeper, but then he becomes a literal beekeeper, even though he has no reason to be an actual beekeeper.
Maybe he was just studying bees.
Maybe when he was in the military force called the Beekeepers, they took them on like a work retreat where they actually had to do some beekeeping. To kind of get a sense of drones and queens and hives.
He just really took it to the next level. It's like, so I really want to know more about these bees. It's like, it's just an exercise, Jason Statham. No. I really want to know about the queen. Yeah, but
So
no, that's a good choice. Yeah.
What's your number 6?
Am I on number 6 now? What's my number 6? Number 6 for me is Alien Romulus.
Oh, all right.
Yes, Alien Romulus. A bit further down the list than you might have expected. Yeah?
Yes.
I think this is an excellent, very fun movie.
Mm-hmm.
I put it here because I've watched this movie probably like 6 times now or 5 times.
Would you say the most
And
out of any of the films last year that you've seen?
I think so, yeah. I love aliens. They're my favorite creature design. But it's not
Better than
really the
Godzilla
deepest movie.
1998?
Better than Godzilla 1998, yes. But yeah, it's pretty much another alien movie, just with a much stronger, maybe more fun direction.
Yep.
There may be a few too many callbacks, and there's the issue with the Ian Holmes CGI, which is apparently fixed now in the home release version.
Oh, really?
But
Okay.
it is just so much fun, and the 4D experience of this movie is second to none from all the 4D movies which I've seen, which is only Captain America: Civil War. But just the creature design, I think this movie's been nominated for visual effects as well.
Yeah.
For
Rightly
an
so.
Oscar. So yeah, it better win over another movie.
Oh, there's some strong contenders. There's some strong contenders, Thavy.
Who was it? It was Dune to A Different Man.
Surely The Substance
Amelia
was in there.
Perez. Oh yeah, The Substance. No, you're right. Yeah, that's true. The Substance is there. Yeah. But no, Alien Romulus was
Amelia
great.
Perez.
I love the
Did
climax.
you say Amelia Perez?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen Amelia Perez. I'm sure you'll talk about it in a future episode, but but I wouldn't assume it was a effects heavy film from what I've seen on the internet.
Yeah. I mean, the Academy is tripping over their shoes to give that movie any nominations.
It's a whole thing. Let's not get into it.
Let's not get into that. Yeah, but no, Romulus is number 6. I really enjoy Kaylee Spaney. I think she's cool.
Good film.
Yeah, just good film. Very,
Probably my
very easy to watch.
favorite alien film.
Ooh,
Maybe second.
Yeah.
Maybe my second favorite alien film, actually.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
More than
Alien 1.
Alien 1.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's better than Alien 1. Alien 1 is just, Alien 1's quite timeless.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I didn't see Alien 1 in 4DX, Tubby, so maybe that's a factor.
yeah. Nah, great movie. Yeah. So what's your number 6?
Oh, I'm up to number 5 now.
Are we up to number 5? Yeah, sorry. I'm just losing track.
My number 5
I'm tired.
is How to Make Millions Before My Grandma Dies.
Lan Ma.
Lan Ma, yes, the Thai film.
Yeah, the comedy heist with Frankie Muniz. Yeah.
Yeah, terrible title,
Jason Statham.
but very good film.
Is Jason Statham in there? I'm gonna make you millions. Sorry, go.
Then I'm gonna kill your grandma. I put this pretty high up on this list because it's the only film from last year that made me feel anything. Not feel anything, but it made me tear up in the movie. Yeah, in the movies, which doesn't happen often to me. So, and admittedly, I do have a soft spot for this kind of story. Specifically just old people being old. Yeah, but it's, I think, especially for a Thai film, which admittedly I haven't seen many, this one really stands out. I think cinematography-wise, it is a cut above a lot of Southeast Asian cinema that I've seen.
Yeah.
And the performances are really good. And I just really like the authentic representation of the family dynamic.
I was going to say, it's a very easy to watch drama film, very easily digestible for this kind of movie, which is in its own way like, I guess, its own blockbuster way, because this movie made waves. So I like how it drew a big audience to a lot of Asians and Western Asian people because, I still remember this was a packed theater, which I didn't... anytime I go to see an Asian film in the cinema, I'd never really book online. I'm just like, no one's gonna want to watch this movie anyway, and I usually get good seats. But when I did this, I made the wrong choice, and I was sitting at the very front. So it just shows the, I guess, the love that this movie got, and it's one of our highest viewed episodes.
I don't think enough people are talking about this film. I think this
really
this film is it's a story that resonates with not just Asian people growing up in Asia, but Asian people like us growing up in the West. And I wish more
it's quite universal. Yeah.
more Western Asian channels talked about this film, because this is what we want to see. This is the representation.
Actually, that's very true. I'm surprised that channel didn't talk about this movie.
Yeah, but no, I think if you, it's something that I think even if you're not Asian, you can resonate with. Like if you know someone that is old, and if you've lost anyone that is old, you can definitely relate to this story. I think all the performances really sell the family dynamic, how they're not perfect people, and they never will be perfect people. Like by the end of the movie, they're not perfect either. They've just gone through an experience that, you know, all of us will probably go through at some point, and come out the other side slightly better.
It's definitely just really nice movie. It'll bring you to tears, but it won't make you feel like shit.
Take your kids, man. Take your kids. If you want your kids to appreciate you when you grow older, you should take your kids now.
No, I think this is probably like the best family movie to come out this year. It's just I think a lot more people need to see this movie.
I realize we haven't talked much about plot for these films, but you know, a lot of them we have reviewed on our channel, so I'll put in links.
True. Yeah,
I'll put in links if you feel interested enough to check them out. But what's your number 5?
Number 5, yes. So I put Kinds of Kindness in there.
Okay.
So to answer, I probably should talk. I mean,
okay, this is my number 4, so we can talk about it together.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
you probably should say a little bit about what this is, because it's weird.
Yeah,
it's a weird film.
It's a weird movie. It's 3 interconnected stories that have all the same actors and similar themes. They all have very darkly comic tones to it. It's a Yorgos Lanthimos film. He's got a very weird style.
So the director of Poor Things, which people probably know him most for. Different. This movie is different to Poor Things. It does have Emma Stone in it though. So.
it's a bit of a slog for some people. I know when we went to watch it at Sydney Film Festival, there were some people like just sitting outside. I remember saying, "Oh, I just couldn't handle it."
It's definitely not for everyone.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. Yeah.
Because it's weird. Even for a Lanthimos film, it's weird. It's probably the weird. I was going to say the weirdest one of his I've seen, but that's probably not true either. It's weird in a different way. I think it's weird in the setup, I guess, and the way that the film is structured.
It's very more in line with his earlier, more sardonic movies. Again, this is a movie that doesn't really have any likable characters either, but they're quite fun to watch in their depravity and in their absurdness. There's a lot of crafts going on in this movie. The cinematography is great. The acting is the direction is just so strangely weird, because the dialogue and the timing, it's just all off to the point where it works. That creates its own rhythm. It's an alternative film. Definitely more like an art house film. It's probably, I mean, it is essentially a dark comedy, which, dark comedies are kind of hard to categorize because they're not, I guess, laugh out loud funny. Well, to me, I laughed a lot in this movie because I like this kind of humor, but they often have very dramatic, tragic undertones as well.
Yeah, there's a scene involving dogs.
Tragic comedy.
That is really funny, but also really dark.
Yeah. There's, I think Jesse Plemons does a great job. I think he won Cannes Best Actor for this. Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's in it.
It's funny because Willem Dafoe's in it. Yeah. There's just, there's always just this weirdness, like wrongness to it, because in one of the episodes, Willem Dafoe is playing Emma Stone's dad, and then in the next episode he's like a lover or something. So it just adds this uncomfortable energy to it. But yeah, I live for this kind of cinema. I live to watch. I like hearing people's reactions. I especially like hearing when people are disgusted by a movie, like a really good movie, and it's just like that kind of that's the extra diegetic part of makes me score movies higher is sometimes some people's disgust to movies. Yeah.
I mean, like, if Furiosa is a distillation of George Miller's vibe, then Kinds of Kindness is probably a distillation of Lanthimos's vibe. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's.
I don't think this was his most successful film.
Oh no,
it's definitely not as.
I wouldn't have assumed that.
Yeah, it's not as accessible as Poor Things, which is quite funny because Poor Things is also quite explicit, but it's more accessible in a Lanthimos category. So it's interesting. Yeah. This movie didn't get nominated for anything. The Oscars. It should probably have. I think so, to be honest. But, got to give Emilia Perez all the nominations. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's do... Well, Kinds of Kindness was my number 4. So do you want to tell us your number 4?
Yeah, so just switch with a switcheroo again. We got no structure whatsoever, which is fucking crazy.
Somebody's keeping track.
Yeah, you got to, because I'm like... My brain's pretty fried at the moment, to be honest. Number 4 is a little bit different. I'm bending the rules a little bit because this is a Japanese film that has not... What? Oh, my God. A Japanese film that was released in 2023 and has not actually seen a proper Western release.
Okay.
But it's on Japanese Netflix, so you have to do the whole... VPN thing to watch this movie. But this is Kirie. So this is Shunji Iwai's latest movie. One of my favorite auteur directors. It is about a singer who is a homeless singer who is partially mute, and you are just following her through her interactions with people, and she's you see her busk and whatnot, and she meets up with a collection of, I want to say colorful characters, but happy and sad characters. But it introduced me to Aina the End. I think she was a part of an idol group, but she plays this role really, really well. You can sense a lot of pain in her voice and in her singing. And I think I saw a video recently talking about her past in which she was homeless for a little while and busking. So this is not biographical because I think it's based off a Shunji Iwai novel, but you can really get that sense that she embodies this character very well. It has a very... This movie is very much an acquired taste. It's definitely not for everyone. Some people who, this is a 3-hour and a bit movie. And the storytelling is very chaotic. It's not chaotic in a sense that there's a lot of explosions and crazy people going on, but it's very fragmented, and there are some scenes that may not go anywhere and some people that kind of come and go, and it does get a little bit hard to distinguish some of the time shifts, but that is just a staple of EY that I really enjoy. And I really love the embodiment of that very floaty, handheld, like dreamy Japanese look that I haven't seen in a little while from EY.
Yeah.
I would say that he's one of the more underrated, I guess, post-2000s directors. You know,
he's pretty popular, but it's more of a cult following, isn't it?
It's more, you got to be a filmy, and even amongst a lot of my cinephile friends, if you're not really into Japanese cinema, you would not know who he is. You know, he doesn't have as much sway as, say, like a Park Chan-wook or a Bong Joon-ho or anything like that, or even a Hirokazu Koreda, because most cinephiles know who Hirokazu Koreda is, but not a lot know who EY is. I just really, I guess, love the way I felt when I watched this movie. I think I watched it really late at night, and it's just this, you kind of get into this mood where maybe the story is not everything, but it is just the craft that's there that just puts you in that mood. That I think a lot of EY's movie does very well. It's not super depressing. There is a couple of scenes where it's like, oh, that's getting pretty heavy. But it's actually quite light for an EY movie, I suppose. I guess compared to All About Lily Choo Choo, which is probably the most depressing movie I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, no, I'd been waiting for this movie for a while. I'd been following the production of it. It's got a few popular, I think, Japanese actors.
It's got Chichiya from Alice in Borderland.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, doesn't have a big role in it, but he's cool. I liked him in there. It's got that one actress that works with Hirokazu a lot. What's her name?
Michiko Kichise?
Oh no, it's got Haru Kuroki and Suzu Hirose.
Yosuke Guchi of Kenshin fame, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard movie to like physically watch, in a sense that it's hard to get access to. But yeah, it's hard to acquire. But if you can get it, I would definitely recommend it.
How's the music?
Yeah, I like the music. It's very much the singer-songwriter style of music. I really like Aina's voice. It's very, how do I describe it? It's quite hoarse. It's very vulnerable. And I've listened to a couple of her albums like post this movie, and a lot of it is a lot more upbeat compared to this movie. But I have a bit of a soft spot for movies about musicians. I quite enjoy them, even if sometimes they're not good. I have this sort of romanticization of this kind of character, and it even put me back to when we were in Japan earlier in the year. And I remember I was in Ueno, and I was just like listening to some of the buskers there, and it was just kind of cool, just people trying to make music and make a little bit of entertainment. And then there's obviously the scene where the cops come in and they're like, oh, you got to move on and stuff because all the authorities just don't want to have any fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good movie. It's I'm not sure if I can recommend it for everyone because it's a very much an acquired taste.
Just looking at these images, it really looks Japanese, melancholy. Like that's the vibe,
it's
right?
Quite melancholic, yeah. But I think this is an excellent film. It's definitely an acquired taste, but I just love this kind of movie. I wish I could have seen this in a cinema. I really do enjoy watching long films like this in the cinema because you get into that zone where you were just at one with the image, I suppose. Sounds pretentious, but it's true. I experienced that with The Brutalist, which I watched a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. But yeah, no, Kirie, check it out. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, speaking of movies that I wish I had seen in cinema, my number 3 is Civil War. Alex Garland Civil War. Yeah, good film. It's
yeah, good film.
You've been telling me to watch this film for a while.
I have been telling you to watch this film, but I've been telling you to watch it in the cinema.
Yeah.
And you didn't listen.
It's, I mean, I'm sure it's on your list somewhere as well. But it centers around an American Civil War, essentially. The focus is put on war journalism. So Kirsten Dunst's character Lee is the main character. She plays a war journalist, kind of documenting this civil war with the ultimate goal of getting an interview with the president, who is currently being deposed through violent means. I mean, it's because the focus is on war photography. I think that is an interesting lens to see this kind of story play out. I would have assumed, just judging from the subject matter and the title even, that it was going to be political, but it's not really. I think the the film paints itself as not really a political piece, but more of a character study and more of like a mediation on the effects of war and like especially a civil war where, you know, people, they live in the same country, but they have opposing viewpoints. And sometimes people are just batshit crazy. And sometimes people are just apathetic. And, you know, so like it covers all spectrums of citizens that could go through this kind of situation. And
definitely. Yeah.
really shines a light on how, you know, humanity, even in the face of atrocities, can just, you know, go on with their lives and not really care about what's happening around them. It's interesting.
I really like this movie's the focus on the journalist aspect of it. I mean, I can talk a lot about this movie, which I probably will. I mean, you pretty much already, But I think the fact that this movie didn't pick a political side is what a lot of people didn't like about this movie. I think it didn't pick a side, therefore it kind of rubbed the left and the right the wrong way.
And that was always going to be the risk
kind of
making
stupid.
this kind of film as well. I don't think Alex Garland really cares that much about it. But he, you know, it is what it is. When you frame a film like this about this subject, you know, people are going to expect it to be political. And be disappointed when it's not.
It paid off. It paid off for him. This is A24's second highest grossing film.
Oh, yeah.
So just behind Everything Everywhere All at Once. I mean, I fucking love Alex Garland.
Far less kind to Asian people than that movie.
He is very, his vision is great. I love his mixture when you compare his other films. His mixture of technology mixed with nature. So they're always traveling through some form of nature, but then there's always that touch of mankind's destruction or mankind's hubris.
Yeah. If you've watched like Ex Machina or Annihilation.
Ex Machina or the TV series Devs. Devs is a really good show. It's on Disney Plus. It's not the happiest of viewings, but
I mean, neither is this film.
It's really great.
Civil War is not the happiest of movies. It's not overly intense, I feel. Like it is tense at some points, but I don't think it's like...
it's not overly graphically violent either, but I mean, Garland has a feel for horror as well. There are some kind of horrific situations that they find themselves in, and there would not be too far from, I would say, like a horror film. I think Alex Garland does tension really, really well. There's just a lot going on in this film, especially when you watch it with people who are experts in, you know, cinematography and whatnot. There's a lot of interesting tricks that Garland and his cinematographer have chosen to do with this movie, which has left a lot of, kind of leaves most of the general audiences who didn't like it, you know, oblivious to it and just say that, you know, it's boring, which is just wrong, I think. But yeah, I think this is a great movie as well. Like, I love it too.
I mean, even like I don't have a super keen eye when it comes to cinematography, but you get the vibe of it. I think like I can't imagine why anyone would call this film boring. Because stuff is happening, and like even when stuff isn't happening, emotions are happening.
It's tense.
So
I mean, people need to see like keys jangling in front of them, otherwise it's nothing's happening. But that's just my little dissatisfaction with some, I guess, you know, media illiteracy these days.
There it is.
What am I? I'm just a snob.
Media illiteracy.
I'm just a cinema snob, man. Media illiteracy, man. Great movie, I'm pretty sure I'll talk more about this movie.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is a Taiwanese movie, The Pig, the Snake, and the Pigeon.
Okay.
So this movie is about a gangster who finds out he has a terminal illness, and he's about to turn himself in because his doctor says you should maybe you can repent for the stuff that you've done. But then he comes across a couple of wanted posters, and he realizes that he's got nothing to show for his criminal status. So he wants to hunt down the people on the posters to become the best criminal in Taiwan before he dies. This is also quite a weird movie. Like the first hour of it is pretty much maybe sort of a regular gangster hunting gangster movie. There's a couple of fight scenes here and there. There's a couple of pretty brutal deaths. But the second half of this movie is where it really shines, and it becomes more of a drama, but it gets twisted in a way. And yeah, I think I talked about this movie a while ago with you. I reckon we should have covered it because I think this is a great movie. It's kind of the less you know, the better it is kind of movie.
Okay.
There is one particular scene that is very cool, but also very uncomfortable to watch. And I think this is one of the more marquee scenes of this year for me. It is just very memorable and something that kind of stuck in my mind for a little while. I'm not familiar with the lead actor in this movie, but it has Ginghao Wang in it, who I have really enjoyed from what was that? The Falls from a few years ago. I think we put that on my list somewhere. So it's good to see her in only a minor role, but it's good to see her acting in these movies. But it's a very slick movie. It's got a lot of different elements. There's noir elements, there's action elements, and then there's maybe psychological drama elements to it at points. There's a lot going on, but it's quite cohesive as well. And I think it's an anti-hero movie that's done pretty well. The characters are quite strong. Some of the antagonists are very strong in this movie as well. Especially one of them really gets under your skin. Without revealing too much of it, it's really good. You see a few familiar faces. I think there's one of the guys.
What's the action like?
It's how would I describe it? I wouldn't say it's The Raid, but it's that somewhat stylized but realistic form of action where people are flipping each other over and chasing each other, but people are getting progressively hurt the longer the fight goes on.
Right.
I mean, it's not, like a Shadows Stray or, a Raid or anything like that, but
it's more like The Prosecutor.
Yeah, probably. I would say that. Yeah, that's a movie we watched this year as well. But no, it's definitely a cool movie. I don't want to talk too much about it. I think this is one that you just have to go into and just watch. It's on Netflix, so it's not like Kitty Air. You don't have to jump through 20 million hoops just to watch it. You can just watch it on Netflix at any time.
Yeah, right.
Cool movie. Yeah, you'll love it, or you won't if you don't like violent movies.
Or if you don't like reading subtitles.
Yeah, or if you hate Asian people, or if you're a big YouTube channel that doesn't cover Asian movies but covers Asian media. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's all I'll say about that. What are we up to?
Number two. We're up to number two, Thavy.
Number two.
My number two is The Substance. The Substance is my number two.
Well, that's my number two as well, so
fantastic.
We can talk about that.
That works out. Yeah,
works
I mean,
out.
everybody knows this movie, right? It's Demi Moore playing a fading starlet who signs up to use this serum that is going to make her younger, but the twist is that it splits her into two versions of herself, a younger version and an older version. And so on and so forth.
Younger version played by Margaret Qualley.
Yeah.
Who got snubbed by the Oscars as well.
Oh, yeah?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to make way for those Amelia Perez nominations.
You got to make way for the Amelia
Not
Perez
everybody can get a nomination, Tom. Yeah. No, she's good in this film. Both actresses are good in this film.
Both actors.
Yeah.
everyone is good at this movie.
Yeah, Dennis Quaid's in it. He's good.
Dennis Quaid is in it. He's great in this movie. I'm pretty sure he replaced. No, it was Ray Liotta was supposed to be the original guy, but he passed away. I think so. Yeah,
that's a good choice
so
too.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah, that would have been a great choice. Yeah, but unfortunately, rest in peace for Ray Liotta. Who passed away. But Dennis Quaid put the mantle up quite well, actually.
Yeah, he's got a real Hunger Games vibe to him.
Yeah, he's not. I've not really seen him as a super unlikable guy in a movie before.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, has he even really been making that many movies recently? So it was kind of
really
fun to see Dennis Quaid play this very obvious...
Just Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, his character's name is Harvey. So, it's not very subtle there. No, I fucking love this movie. And, I was thinking about where I was going to put this on my list. And then I think I was watching... Australian television in all its glory, like mornings on 9 or whatever. And I think that they were talking about like the Oscars, and then I think they were talking about the substance. I think Richard Wilkins, who international audience will have no idea who that is.
It is a local reference.
Richard, he's just like talking about the substance. He's like, "Oh, I hated this movie. Oh,
what?
All the violence, He's like,
he's one of these guys.
And then I was just like,
he would be, wouldn't he? Like, he's one of those guys.
You know exactly what I'm saying. Of course you would hate this movie. Of course you are a guy in a new progressive, and this is a progressive movie, but you're in a progressive where like guys have to have much more feminized taste in things. Of course, you hate violence and stuff. I
don't know.
Yeah, I'm putting this at number 2.
I feel like this movie is a feminist movie, right? So like,
it is.
If you're one of those guys,
all the violence stands, all the violence. I just couldn't handle it. It's too much for me. All right. I just can't watch violence. Yeah. And I was just like, this is going to number 2. After watching
it's a violent film, but that's the beauty of it, right? It's like. Because it is, there's a lot of commentary in the film, but if you're not into that, I mean, you can appreciate the violence and the effects and the body horror.
That's the thing, because this is a feminist movie, right? But it is done in such an entertainingly fun way that anyone can watch it, and it's relatable because like you get it as well. Even as a guy, you understand that is old Hollywood. And Caroline Fajot, I'm not sure if I'm saying that. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. She definitely like hates Hollywood, even though they've given this movie a number of Oscar nominations. So this is the third horror movie in the post 2000s or 2010s that has been nominated for a Best Picture. So that's great. I love how highly stylized it is, and the practicality of the effects. I love the practical effects.
Amazing, yes.
It's great. It is such a fun movie to watch. And just all the more reason that it made people pissed off, and it, you're watching like cuck viewers on the morning channel. They're it's too violent. It's just like, it's great.
Drew Barrymore endorses this movie. So like.
I know, it's weird, because this is a movie that you think that, and from Drew Barrymore's case, she did promote this movie, but
I mean, she was in Scream,
that night.
Her audience, you wouldn't think would be into this kind of film, but like, they should be, because this is like
they should be.
It's all the messaging.
This is what you guys want to see, right?
Well, it's all the messaging is there, but it's just packaged in such an entertaining way, like you said, and the performances as well, especially on Moore's part. I think she is the definite standout. Like,
good to see her return to form, and just really nice to see Demi Moore really embody Elizabeth Sparkle and just go for it. I love the music as well.
Yeah, this is a message that probably resonates with her, as a fading starlet herself. I recently watched The Last Showgirl, which features Pamela Anderson, and it's like a pretty similar kind of character where, these beautiful women traded on their beauty when they were young, but now that they're older, like what place do they have in the world? And I think that is a really powerful message, especially for women, but like for anyone really. It's like, how do we stay relevant in the eyes of the public, I guess. And I think it's just really sold really well by Demi Moore.
And I think it's great to have that French extremism horror aspects to it as well. I've been watching a fair few French movies actually just recently. So I think it's great. I mean, there's a lot of really good movies nominated for Best Picture this year. I think I would actually want The Substance to win the most out of all the nominees. I mean, I love The Brutalist. I love Dune 2, and I love The Substance and all. But yeah, I just hope, because it would just send such a great message that especially for horror directors as well, because we get snubbed so much by the Academy. I mean, the Academy would rather. I mean, no one really gives a shit about the Oscars. I guess I do, because I'm talking about it a lot. But I mean, they'd rather choose like a Marvel movie over like horror, where horror is just because it's not everyone's cup
I think
of tea.
it's turning around a little bit as of late. Like The Substance is a clear indication that they're more open to it, as long as the movie has a bit of depth, I guess.
And it'll piss off more morning show hosts. With like very average taste in movies.
But even just in terms of like auteurs being true to themselves, I feel like there's no compromise in this film.
Yeah, I mean, I love how, because I think this movie faced a lot of issues in post-production, because this movie was in post-production for 3 years, I believe. So there was an initial screening, and I think one of the big studios, Warner Brothers or Universal, I think one of the execs were there, and they're like, "Nah, I hate it. Change the ending." And then Coraline said, like, "No."
She had to shop it around to lowest budget studios, right?
Yeah, she went to Mubi. So Mubi's the streaming platform that shows all the art house stuff. And good on Mubi, man. Now Mubi has a Academy Award nominated film up their repertoire, and whoever decided to not buy the rights for this movie is a moron.
Probably Richard Wilkins'
and this movie
mate.
was successful.
Probably.
It's Richard Wilkins' mate. Yeah. I wouldn't even know how to explain who Richard Wilkins is. He's just a guy. He's just a presenter.
People have seen the Tom Cruise interview, right? That was him, right?
Oh, was that him?
Pretty sure it was him.
Yeah, I've got nothing against Richard Wilkins. I just think you've got a very poor taste in movies. But I mean, I guess before we get to our number ones, do you have
some honorable
any special mentions? Yeah, because I've got quite a few.
Well,
I actually had a lot more than I expected, to be honest. Yeah,
I put Godzilla -1 there because I think I was going to put them on last year, but then we didn't watch it in time or something. But I've also got Strange Darling. I've got Hit.
Oh yeah, Strange Darling. Yeah,
Hitman. Dune Part 2, which surprisingly didn't end up on either of our lists, I assume.
Yeah. yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've got Dune 2 as well. Do you have more?
Twilight of the Warriors and Bad Boys Ride or Die, which I enjoyed surprisingly a lot.
Yeah,
I think it was more like just the vibe, just like I was in a good mood at the time, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we're hanging out and we're just like, and then we wanted to eat barbecue chows too. We're like,
Yeah.
That's really funny. Yeah, no, I'm surprised. Dune 2 is also an honorable mention, which is interesting because I fucking love that movie. But also, when I was rewatching it, I'm like, I wasn't as into it as maybe other films.
I think it's overrated. I don't know. I like the films, but as a fantasy franchise, like there's Star Wars, there's Lord of the Rings, Dune Part 2 feels like the emo like cousin of those fantasy franchises.
It does. But I would say this franchise is better than Star Wars.
Well, it is now, but when Star Wars was in its prime,
it's not as but I think, Dune as a franchise is just a lot more interesting than Star Wars. I mean, it's the original Star Wars.
I would say visually not. Aesthetically not. But like the story is pretty good.
Because of all the desert stuff, I think the story is just better. But it didn't end up making my top 10. I also have Black Dog, which is a Chinese film that I watched recently. Really, really great cinematography. It's cinematography 101. Just really good. And a kind of story that you know what's going to happen, and it is just, a guy becoming friends with a dog, but it's just told in a very interesting way. And just beating out the top 10 was a movie called Cloud, another Japanese movie, Kiyoshi Kurosawa movie. That's also a very interesting movie because the protagonist is a scalper, and I hate scalpers.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also a movie you just gotta go in without knowing much. It's weird. The tonal shifts is fucking weird. It's part horror movie, then thriller, then action movie. So it just goes through the ringer.
Yeah.
But pretty cool movie. Also his short horror movie Chime, which I also really enjoyed. That was kind of a cool little experiment. Baby Assassins 3 surprisingly didn't make my top 10. I really love that franchise as well. But I think there was just even though it was a shift in a different direction, it's still like stuff I've seen before. Sure. It wasn't as fresh as, say, like the first Baby Assassins. Hitman is there too. Just a very fun, probably like the best rom-com that I've seen in a while. Too. And for most people that don't know, I'm not a huge fan of rom-coms. And Lan Ma, or How to Make Millions Before Jason Statham Comes and Kills Your Grandma.
Fly kicks your grandma to death.
Fly kicks your grandma. Yeah, no, that's an honorable mention. As I was saying before, I think a lot of people should watch this movie, but it's also like, it's pretty just
it's a bit hallmarky for you, I reckon.
Yeah, probably a bit hallmarky. I think I've seen better Thai movies that have just a subtler message that it's just a bit too maybe simple. I don't know. But I think it's still a good movie, just maybe a little bit overrated. And lastly, Look Back. Yeah, Look Back is there.
Look Back's okay.
I quite like that little twist in there. I like the animation. But yeah, I think it's cool. Good movie. But yeah,
and it's only 70 minutes long, so that's good for some people.
Yeah, that's it. So, all right, who wants to go?
Well, I wonder if keen
you probably
listeners,
already know what my number one.
Well, I know what it is. I wonder if keen listeners would know what our number ones are because they've both been mentioned on these lists. I wonder if you can guess mine.
I actually thought it was going to be Dune 2, to be honest, but maybe it's not.
No.
What would be your number one?
It is Alien Romulus, Thavy.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah. I already said Alien Romulus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I mean, Alien Romulus to me is just a director really understanding the assignment. Just nailing almost every aspect of it. I mean, Ian Holmes CGI notwithstanding, but just like in terms of bringing the franchise back to what people love about the franchise, and also, working with the lore building that, Ridley Scott tried to bring into his later iterations, I guess. Just working with all that and producing something fresh and really, really enjoyable. Like, this is a roller coaster of a movie. And
yeah, for sure.
I watched it more than once. This is, I think, the only movie from last year that I watched more than once, and more than once in 4DX as well. Which is not a cheap ticket. So yeah,
no, it's not. It was cheap for me on a Tuesday. Got it for like $15.
I just really couldn't look past the overall cinema experience of this film. Objectively speaking, is probably not like, craft wise as good as something like a Civil War or The Substance, but in terms of an overall package, I think Alien Romulus really tickled that itch of like, just a really well-crafted film that is also super enjoyable and rewatchable. Yeah, it's good. It's a good film.
Yeah, it's great. Alien Romulus is the only movie that I've purchased online. When I was in Japan, right, I was about to get on a long Shinkansen, And I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood to spend money. So I was on Amazon Prime. I'm like, I'm gonna buy Alien Romulus on Amazon Prime, and then watch it on the Shinkansen. I fell asleep like 40 minutes in because I was just really tired. But there's not many movies that would make me just do that, and that's how rewatchable this movie is. I mean, I could rewatch this movie again in a heartbeat. I just fucking love Alien. I mean, I've already said it in my
Yeah. And
previous-
Alien Romulus is a
number
really
6.
alien film, more so than Prometheus and even Alien Covenant.
Yeah. Alien's better than Aliens itself, maybe. Not the first Alien, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's
was
a lot of
gonna say,
Easter
yeah,
eggs
that
in
didn't
it
quite
as well.
work.
If you're one of
Yeah.
those people that looks for Easter eggs, he's very heavily inspired by Alien Isolation. So if you played that game, you'll love this film.
Yeah. I'm surprised by some of because this movie was surprisingly divided at some points as well. There are a lot of reviewers out there who just love criticizing things for being maybe too artsy and stuff. And then
One might say
when
that
this
is their
movie-
job, Tavi, as critics, to criticize.
But then when it's like, oh yeah, they like non-pretentious stuff. But then you got this movie; it's not very pretentious, and they just don't like it. It's like, what do you want to watch then, man? Like, yeah, like,
You want to watch Jason Statham?
Go watch The Beekeeper. Oh yeah, I forgot to. That's an honorable mention as well. The Beekeeper.
Yeah.
I think people know that already.
Yeah, it was a scene. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but Romulus is good. I love it. Yeah.
Good film. What's your number one?
Yeah, I think it's not a surprise to you. It's Civil War. As I was saying, there's so much going on in this movie, and it really is a sound design movie. And the fact that this did not get a best nomination, do you know what else got best sound design instead of it?
I can guess.
But it really is a crime because the sound design in this movie is great. And it's not just how much sound there is, but it's also when there is not sound. So that is partly the tension. The scene when they're driving up and there's a sniper encounter, there's just this haunting sound of a carnival playing, but with the context of the movie and that weird eeriness. And it's fantastic. All the set pieces are great. All the set design, and this movie is very eerie to watch. And just the whole journalistic aspect of getting high off war photography is very interesting. Just the adrenaline that
Just
goes
how
through these
far
people.
these people will go to capture an image.
And a lot of the movie is the morality of being a war photographer and how detached you are to becoming one. And I think that is mostly Kaylee Spaney's character arc.
Well, it's the dynamic between Kirsten Dunst's character and Kaylee Spaney's character, right?
They basically have reverse arcs in this movie, which is very interesting to see. And again, in the cinematography, if you're a fucking film nerd, you can see the difference of halation when it's through Kirsten Dunst's point of view, and then when it becomes clearer, but then through Kaylee Spaney's character, it gets more distorted in that sense. There's just a lot going on with like proper using the mediums that you have to further tell that story, and to not choose a side, I think is brilliant as well. I mean, there's a lot of idiots out there who just find this movie boring. I'm just going to say that, like, fuck it, this is my podcast. I don't give a shit if I sound... Because everyone knows I'm a fucking pretentious... Like, I mean, I was hanging out with some friends the other day. It's like, everyone knows that Tavy is just the pretentious cinema guy. And I said, oh, yeah, for sure. Like, without a doubt.
You're a fucking walking meme, Tavy. You've got a Criterion Collection hat on right now, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. My Criterion underwear, my Criterion socks. Yeah.
If you look up a picture of those cinema meme guys, pretty much you.
Yeah, that's me. But also, this movie is fun to watch. The last 30 minutes of this movie is a fucking adrenaline-fueled rush. And that really encapsulates what is going through the characters at the time, because you're starting to see Kirsten Dunst breaking down, but then you're seeing Kaylee Spaney, who's really just getting into it. She's in the thick of it now. She's almost at the point of no return in terms of what she wants to do. And it's because making a war movie, and I wouldn't even say this is really an anti-war movie, but most movies that say that they're anti-war are not really anti-war because there's an element of you having to glorify that war. But the way that Civil War does it at the end, it's fun to watch and it's thrilling because that's how the characters are feeling at the time, I believe. So it's just really just says a lot. And again, the sound design in that aspect is just amazing. And it should have got a fucking nomination. I don't know what the Academy is doing. Like snubbing this movie. Like it doesn't have to have a best act, but just give it a technical award. Give it really like
Academy hates Alex Garland. That's why he's not directing anymore.
Yeah. The Academy. It's a shame because Alex
the
Garland.
Academy
really
and audiences hate Alex Garland.
Yeah. That's media illiteracy though. Yeah. But
you're right, Alex.
Yeah, no, I think like this is a great movie. I'm looking forward to your stuff. I think he's got another movie coming out this year, which is kind of a companion piece to Civil War, but it's not directed by him. He's written it, but he's co-directed it with a guy that he got a lot of advice for on this movie. But I've seen the trailer for it. I forgot what it's called, but it doesn't look as. This one looks more like a straightforward war movie because it's just about the soldiers. But I'll give it a watch. Like if Alex Garland is attached to it, I'm giving it a watch. But I think this was both a successful but also underrated movie of last year. Really, yeah, I think it's great. There's a lot of crafts going on in this movie, but it's also fun as well. Yeah, I would definitely. It never will because it wasn't that successful in a sense that it has I don't know if it's got a cult audience, but I would definitely see it in IMAX again. I mean, I didn't see it. I would see it in IMAX if it showed again and I had the opportunity to see it.
Yeah, because I probably would too.
Really, yeah. It's you really need to watch it in a cinema. It's good on your screen if you got nice speakers, but just having that surround sound just really
don't watch it on your phone.
The horror. Don't watch it on your phone. I know some people. I reckon a lot of people just watch it on their phone, and it's an it's a war movie. Yeah, but I won't go on that rant again.
That's a good film.
Yeah, no, those are my. I think that's our top 10.
Yeah, that is our top 10. Big wins for Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah, she's cool. Good on her. She's got a good agent, I think. She's
doing good stuff.
Going places. Yeah.
But yes, that is our top 10 for last year. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. What were your top 10s of last year? Did you agree with our picks? Or did you think Civil War was mid? Let us know in the comments.
Probably a lot of people thought it was mid. But interesting, yeah. This is our list is very different this year. We've only had 2 or 3 overlaps, I think. Romulus, Substance, and Different Man, yeah. Very can see our movie tastes, and that's why we balance each other out.
Yeah. But yes, if you want to comment in, you can get in touch with us at twoasianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Two Asian Blokes to see what we're up to. Stay tuned for our worst of 2024 list coming shortly, probably next week, hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the list people want to hear, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what you dogs want to hear, isn't it? You want the negativity.
I wanted to change it.
We know what you want. Yeah. Just wait, okay? Just wait. We'll get to it.
Yeah. All right. We will catch you shortly
in a week's
time.
See you later.
All right. See ya.